Good morning and welcome to Gunner Shot. Today we're going to look at Trump's new great game. This is an adaptation of the modified or the Heartland approach, Mackinder's Heartland theory. And I get the feeling that when you analyze the Heartland theory of Mackinder and what is happening, you find that there's a similarity. Of course, it's modified with times and the situation, but there it is. It's there, and it's there for for us to see. Are we understanding this or not is the question. But let's analyze this. What is Heartland theory of Mackinder? He said, "He who rules East Europe commands the heartland. He who rules the heartland commands the world island. He who rules the world island commands the world." Well, it sounds sort of funny, but let's look at this map and understand it. You get a better idea of the story when you look at it from a map. Okay, this is the heartland. The heartland is generally Russia, Siberia, right? The heartland, because the maximum, that's the core. And he says anyone who ruled East Europe commands the heartland, and anyone who rules the heartland commands the world island. And world island is Asia, and of course Europe and Asia. And whoever rules the world island rules the world. This is his theory. Is this what Trump is doing? I think so. I think so fully. Right? And that's what we're going to discuss today. That's actually a very interesting proposition if you look at it from that point of view. Okay. Look at it. And let's see what happened since the Iran-Iraq war. And I've been talking of it loosely in many podcasts. But today I thought, let me put this in focus as to how this new Heartland theory or Trump's great game adapts itself to the modified Heartland theory. End of the Iran-Israel war, what did we see? We saw, of course, the hotspots are there: Israel, Syria, Yemen, Iran. But American control extended from Israel, that is the Mediterranean, Israel, Syria, to our neighborhood, Pakistan. Complete. The Chinese were kicked out. End of story. Everyone knows this. I mean, it's nothing new. Chinese don't have a leg to stand on. They can do the trade with Arabia, Saudi Arabia, and their links with China, I mean, Iran are there, but not so strong. We know that. That's a shaky thing. I wouldn't say shaky, it's weak. It's simply weak. It's not shaky. It's very, the intent is strong, but the actualities of that relationship are weak. Okay. That's the fundamental. Then what happened? Then a series of events have happened which forces us to believe what I'm trying to talk of. Right. Sorry. Look, then you see in the past 6 months, 7 months, trouble in Taiwan, trouble in Taiwan, Philippines area with the Chinese, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Nepal. All these have gone into some kind of political turmoil. There's nothing military about it, really. Political turmoil. Of course, the thing between Philippines, Taiwan, China has got military overturns, but largely politico-military posturing. But when you look at Myanmar, when you look at Bangladesh, when you look at Nepal, when you look at Thailand, when you look at Indonesia, some kind of color revolution thing, instability. Now, this instability, if you see, look at it from a Chinese perspective. There's a ring of instability around China. I mean, one way of looking at it is there's a ring of instability around India also. But this line, if you connect the dots, has pressures on India and pressures on China. Okay, this control over the Middle East pressurizes India. So India is caught between these red dots and this, red and white and red and black. There are, instabilities built or excess control built. And here you have complete US control. Here there's no control. It's open instability seeping into China and seeping into India. And in this comes now Trump's quest for Afghanistan and his foothold into Pakistan. And then trying to pressurize China from this area, the West. Simultaneously, right, here, through Myanmar, Bangladesh, we all keep talking of the Chinese entry into Bangladesh. Here it is, pressurizing China. So what's he doing actually? He is trying, essentially, the latest moves are to control this land, Heartland. Of course, the original Heartland is this, but this Heartland now extends up to Kazakhstan. What does that do? Now, this American presence in Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and whatever, that entire area, and in the Middle East, and this put pressures on China. It put pressures on India. It controls Iran itself. It also controls Pakistan. It controls the southern belly of Russia. And this is Ukraine. So this is a modified story which is coming out. How many of us have realized it? And in this, India is the pivot. India, you upset India by tariff and all this. Are these things which are happening in Manipur or Kashmir, Ladakh, whatever is happening, is there a link? Is this a domino effect which is happening from Nepal to Ladakh? So there is something happening in this belt. But as this is happening, you see Trump is getting hold of this area. It's a modified heartland. You control this area, you control all the powerful nations of the world. And you control the resources of the world. Because you control this and you control this area, you are controlling the ocean, you're controlling the Mediterranean, and this kind of a destabilization, the American presence already there, you're already in control of the Pacific. And China is definitely not in control of the Pacific. It put pressures on China from both sides. And this is, everyone feels that China is going to be pressurized from its seaboard. That's the rich part of China and the strong part of China. This is the weak part, the weak back door, I call it, the back door of China. You open this back door, China is vulnerable, hugely vulnerable. Xinjiang, Tibet, Yunnan, especially from Myanmar. Forget about the fact there's rare earths and all that. Now, combined with this are the minerals and resources. Kazakhstan, all these Central Asian republics, Turkmenistan, even Afghanistan. For all you know, you might be looking at Afghanistan for minerals now. Myanmar is all about minerals. And Ukraine. So the new great game is about resources, putting pressure on China and India and Russia and Iran. It's very apparent if you look at it from this point of view. Well, you might say, oh no, this has not happened and all. No, but let me back it up with my data, date-wise. First, this whole story starts in June when Trump embraces Pakistan. Okay, this is from Al Jazeera. It says tactical romance or a new inner circle. It's not a tactical romance. Now, right, if you look at this, Pakistan is a critical factor in this. Why? Pakistan gives the gateway, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and entry here into Central Asian republics. You might say, "Oh no, no, what's this chap talking of Central Asian republics?" I'll get to it. Then what happens on 22nd June? Midnight Hammer. What happens post Midnight Hammer? You get control of this whole story here. China is shown to be ineffective. There's something happening. We have to realize this. And it's happening in front of our eyes. All of us are talking of India, China, USA, India, USA, Russia, but the macro picture is emerging. With all this, the way things are going in Russia and between Russia and Europe and that war going on, Russia is fixed. It can do it. Actually, Russia is able to do nothing. And if you think the Trump trade war is foolish, it's not. It's put a huge hamstring on China and India. There's no doubt. Right? And we can keep talking. China is suffering from involution. So a trade war on that, China is off the grid. China is doing something else because probably China is a stronger nation in terms of many things. India is under the pump. India is also a strong nation. It might not bend to what USA wants. It won't, in fact. But that's not their way of doing things. They're forcing it. Okay, so we've spoken of Midnight Hammer. Then comes this great 26th July. Look at this. 1 month later, what happens? Who's this fellow? Kurila, the ex-CENTCOM commander. He comes to Pakistan. There's a conference of all the Central Asian chiefs of defense staff. All these guys come. And who's this man? Munirji. Munir is the central man in this. And before this, Munir goes to China and comes back. After this, Munir goes to Central Command and spends 4 days there. That's the second trip. And now Munir is already there for the third trip. We'll get news of that. Okay, so this happens. Who are these fellows? Look, these are the chaps. Commander Michael Kurila with leadership from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Only Turkmenistan was not present. And what's the need for a regional chiefs of defense staff conference in Islamabad, where the US is in attendance? So it's making way. And then comes, this is followed by Munir's visit, second visit to USA. And this newfound friendship between Kurila and Munir. Follow this up 1 month later. So this happens on 26th July. End July, Sergey Gore is made the ambassador to India and a special envoy for South and Central Asian affairs. It's happening in sequence. Go back to that map. So the ambassador is here. He's also looking after Central Asian affairs and the South Asian affairs, which means Nepal, VAO, sub, including Pakistan. So he can coordinate everything. And India is the pivot for all this story. The story between India and USA is not over. You might think I'm talking like, Frederick Forsyth or Tom Clancy novel or something like that. But that's the way things are unfolding in front of us. We need to realize it. I'll keep going back and forth. So you understand, the sequence gets into you. And he's got a direct ear to the president. So he's going to shape this entire area. And he's going to also pressurize India for, following the American path. And that's coming amply through all their statements from there. And it's also coming amply through what's happening in the UN General Assembly. This is being followed up. With India, there's a mutton Jeff approach. There's a mutton Jeff approach. And we'll talk of it today evening in the Three Good General show with General Rajiv Narayanan and General Dushyant Singh, and of course with Sri Ayerji in the evening, 8 o'clock. Join us then. Right? Now, this is the interesting thing. 1 week, 31st, this thing earlier this month, 1 week after this appointment, something which never caught our eye. Now, we are more interested in what's happening around. You will read the Central Asian Times, this comes out, 7th September, earlier this month. I mean, we're talking about 2 weeks before this. US President Donald Trump has a great conversation with Kazakhstan's President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. See, he's already reached out. And then Trump also speaks to Uzbek President Shavkat Mirziyoyev. And with both sides highlighting how to increase this strategic partnership. Remember, Uzbekistan and USA had a strategic partnership going when Afghanistan was on the boil. But after that, it died. Now it's restarted. Right? Now the point is, will Trump go the route? Will he keep this engagement sustained? Of course, he's already, look, the Chief of Defense Staff story is first, all these Central Asian republics are largely military controlled or controlled by strongmen. Strongmen need strong militaries. And the military chiefs of these strongmen virtually run the country. They are part of the policy. Of course, Pakistan policy is only one-man show today. Munir. And so are these people who have the ears of the heads of their government. And they're largely strongmen. There's no democracy there when you go there and see. So, what is the aim? Central Asia's energy reserves, mineral wealth, strategic geography. What is the strategic geography? Heartland theory, modified to the times. He knows engagement with these countries is not through tariffs or enforcement. It doesn't work. But enforcement, tariff, and all will work with India, which seeks strategic autonomy. India is an unruly animal around this area. That's a different story. We'll talk of that, today evening, and maybe I'll have to do a separate thing for that. I will have to do a separate thing. I have no doubt about it. Washington needs common ground with the Central Asian republics. Look at it from a different point of view. Why is Chabahar being blocked off? So that India can't approach Afghanistan and influence Afghanistan. Right? Because if Afghanistan is influenced, the mining in Pakistan, go back to the map. Let me explain. The mines in Pakistan are in this area. Let me make this map also bigger. Yeah. The mines in Pakistan are in this area. And if Afghanistan and Iran can interfere in them, push comes to a shove. Right? Hence, block Chabahar. The moment Chabahar is blocked, India's reach and Iran's reach into Afghanistan is blocked. So Afghanistan is isolated. Take over Bagram. So back to the old days where you went through Pakistan to Afghanistan and then control this area. It not going through or cutting off Chabahar also cuts off India's reach into Afghanistan and Central Asian republics. India is a soft power nation. It's got tremendous value there. And if India is cut off, Russian link is also cut off. So your pivot is being pressurized. Something which people have to understand. And then, of course, 1 week after this talk with the Central Asian republics, US starts talking with Taliban. And this comes in Wall Street Journal. And of course, now Trump himself has tweeted on 20th. All this is happening. 3 days later, Trump talked. If Afghanistan doesn't give Bagram Air Base back to those who built it, the United States of America, bad things are going to happen. President DJT. Thank you. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for your attention. So that's his normal story, isn't it? So you see this pattern which is emerging. It's unfolding month by month, week by week. Now, that could be happening then. Simultaneously, you go back to that map. I have to take you back to that map. While all this is happening, moves are afoot here. And we'll talk of this area. Okay? We know what's happening with India. I don't have to tell too much. But look at this. So, US moves in India, set off alarms in neighbors India and Myanmar. We spoke of it yesterday evening also. We'll keep speaking of it because that situation is still evolving. Right? And this is in September, same time. The same time frame things are happening. A joint exercise in the area of Cox's Bazar and Chittagong. Yeah, this is it. This is here. Chittagong is here. Cox's Bazar is here. Exercise is here. Why do you want the exercise here? You want to get through here and get here. This is the area. What is this area? Rare earths. This is China. Shortest route to China, threaten rare earths, get rare earths. And for that, it needs India. So you're getting all kinds of pressures. Let's be very clear. There's nothing about trade in this. This is about resources. And without India, that's your ace. Our ace is this. You get this is a Lido road. The old Lido road. It comes down to Michkina from here. And there's a pass called Pangsaw Pass. Maybe one of these days I'll explain the hump and the pass and the history and see how it is. That it makes interesting history, all right. It used to come here, Michina, and then go across. Japanese used to occupy up till here. Okay. In fact, Japanese had come here, Kohima, Imphal. Okay. So that route, there is talk of that route reopening. But for that reopening of that route and everything, India, Australia, and USA have to cooperate. We are still some time away from that. Can India do it alone? India can do it alone if it decides to do, but then it has to take on China. Okay. So, will India do it alone? Well, IREL chaps have gone there already. Indian Rare Earths Limited people have gone there. So, there's a new thing happening here. I've spoken of that story in a different podcast. There's yet another shift. This is an interesting shift. The pivot to Central Asia. As what is happening in Central Asia, everything is going on. 17th September, there's a conference in China. Just before that, there's a military conference in China. And just before that, Pete Hegseth says there's a significant, he indicates a significant shift in the China policy. And this gets reported where? In South China, Morning Post. It doesn't get reported in normal things. Very quietly. What does it say? What does this report talk of? It says the language Hexeth used during a call with his Chinese counterpart Dong Yun was unprecedented. In fact, around the time when the military conference was being held it was in Jiangshan in China around the same time, Hexeth speaks to Dong Yun. Okay, Dong Yun is the what um, PLA Minister of Defense of China, and the word used is unprecedented. What has Hexeth conveyed? And he says it. He has made it clear that the USA does not seek conflict with China. This is something new. Nor is it pursuing regime change or strangulation of the PRC. The first talk with Dong Yun, this is what he says: don't worry, I'm not going to change your regime, I'm not going to pressurize, I'm not going to attack you. Everyone thinks Indo-Pacific is the new thing. No, it's shifted here. Around the same time, all this happening simultaneously. In Taiwan, there's a FONOPS. Okay, the 3 US ships which go through the Taiwan Strait. Earlier, a US ship going through the Taiwan Strait meant a lot of noise and talk. This time, nothing happens. No talk. It has happened. I didn't talk of it. Didn't get reflected. Nothing. So they're soft pedaling on China. And then our friend, same time, all this is happening all simultaneously. Trump speaks to Xi Jinping, and he says, I just completed a very productive call with President Xi of China. We made progress on many issues, including trade, fentanyl, need to bring the war between Russia and China to a close, TikTok deal, yeah, whoa. I will be meeting him in the APEC summit in Korea. And I will also go to China in next year. And we had a very great call. We spoke a lot of things. Yeah, whoa. But yeah, it is as if, both these guys are sitting in a bedside, beachside cafe and having a drink and, seeing the sun, and there's a great viewer. That kind of a talk is coming out. And you look at the latest talk, I couldn't put it in, the latest talk of Trump in the UN General Assembly. He spoke of India and China as fueling the Russia war. But his approach to India and talk about India was far different than that with China. People are saying that he's soft pedaling on China. Is he soft pedaling on China, or is this a new approach? We don't know. I mean, this whole story is still unfolding. What we know is India is a pivot in this story. So, if the 3 theaters, if I may put it, okay, if I may, I'll go back to that map. I mean, sorry, that's a map in the front. You go back, this is the Pacific Theater. Here, things are going quiet. Here, there's unrest. But there's a thrust in between here. Is it to China or only minerals or what? Control of this. This is the heart of the Indo-Pacific. Let me tell you, I've always maintained Myanmar is the heart of the Indo-Pacific. Many people don't agree with me. The heart of the Indo-Pacific is not Taiwan, it's not Philippines, it's not India. It is Myanmar. Who controls? It's in the same way, who controls the Heartland controls the world island. Who controls Myanmar controls Indo-Pacific. The complete strategy of China will get unraveled if you control Myanmar. And we are sitting next to it and we don't even think of it. This is where I find fault with our own system. We are not outbound. And this is what I spoke yesterday also with Sri Iyer and Harimohan Iyer on P. Guru's show. If you are outbound, Pakistan by now would have been cut to size. If you are outbound, China would have been on the back foot. You have to be outbound. Outbound doesn't mean that you take your militaries and hang around there. You can do it politically, geopolitically, people to people contact. Have we done this? So we'll go back to the. Sorry. Right? And then this. Now the strategic pact between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. As per Aisha Siddiqa, it's about Iran and it has been blessed by US and it is not against by China and all that. This could be well true. Yesterday evening, I spoke to you people. In my podcast. Have a look. I spoke about the Sino-Pakistan Arab axis. Now I'm speaking of exactly something counter to that. Both are taking place simultaneously. We're talking of the US game. The US game in this area and the Chinese-Pakistan game in the area are at counter to each other. So what is the US strategy? And what is the Chinese strategy? Even Chinese today have stopped speaking about, Taiwan, and all that. They're also gravitating this side. They see an opening with Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. Have they created it? Or has Trump created that axis? Or has Saudi Arabia and Pakistan together are playing a double game? All three options are open. But we have to understand these great games which are being played. I have no doubt about it. What about India? Look at what India story. Someone tweeted, I just picked up issues. I thought there was sense in this. USS and Trump both are frustrated with India on its, stance on strategic autonomy. We are not giving them access to agriculture or dairy. We are not shifting to US crude. And today also someone came out and says we want them to buy our crude and, the American, India to buy our crude and get away from Russia. The game is very clear. We're not opting for American weapons over others. So all this has got us 25% tariffs. India is a dead economy. Then the buying Russian oil has jacked it to 50%. Then this tweet which came out, we lost India after the SEO summit. Then suddenly Modi is my friend. But Modi is my friend, my attack dogs will still bark about India. Now target TCS, Infosys, HCL, Wipro, all these over the H1B, through the H1B route. Then enforce sanctions on Chabahar. Yeah, Mutton Jeff pressurizing India. Somehow, India has to be part of the game towards Myanmar. Pakistan has to be part of the game towards Central Asia. India should not be part of the game towards Central Asia. Because that upsets the Chinese, that upsets the US plan. They're more comfortable dealing with the rogues in Pakistan. Slowly, and of course, create problems. I don't know. We have to look into it in great detail about what's happening in Ladakh and maybe other places. There's a soft pattern. I think I've established the pattern. You're hitting India's soft spots. You're hitting into India's critical areas. Bangladesh is critical to India. The Siliguri corridor. And simultaneously threatening China. You're then the intensive HT sector, the IT sectors, that's being hit. What is your export, major export, labor and things like that, all being hit. Somewhere he wants Indian resistance to break. Will that happen? That's $1 million question, right? We don't know. So we are in a situation where there are a lot of games being played by a lot of people. Yesterday, I spoke to you about the Sino Arab Park axis. Today, I am speaking to you of the US great game here. Of course, the US great game has got a larger span. There's no doubt. What is China's take on this whole story? China is playing another game called through the GGI, the Global Governance Initiative. And it's gone ballistic over it. Every day I see articles coming out on GGI, and they sense an opportunity. A lot of things are in motion. Even the Chinese are worried about India. In fact, today I read an article about India being the fifth pole. So we'll examine that also. Because what's happening around us, inside us, and you know, in a neighborhood and in a far neighborhood is a new great game which is going on. Not necessarily the Halford McIntyre variety, but everyone is caught in a revolution. Of course, China is actually in the worst position, and there is heavy involution on, and there is this great game going on for global governance. Will China get split into two, or split between these two, the involutory forces and the global governance initiative ambition? How will they handle that is to be seen. So we have interesting analysis coming. All this analysis is counterintuitive. I'm sure many don't speak about it, but this is the way I see it. Right? And then through all this, we have to grow. All this, there's going to be pressure on us. There's going to be pressure on the military. There's going to be pressure on our economy. There's going to be pressure on our people. There's a pattern. Okay? I'm not saying they're against only India or it's a foreign hand. There's a larger pattern in which we fit. How do we handle it is the $1 million question. Right? This I've done for the day. I'll take a few questions. I would request all of you, if you like this video, do press the like button, thumb button. I would also request you to subscribe to Gunner Shot and join in as members. In fact, I see subscription has gone down in the past few days. Of course, that's due to the fact I was also not publishing, but now I've started publishing. We must look ahead. In all this, we need to do reforms. What reforms? You need to do economic reforms. You need to do labor reforms. You need to do many things. I'll get hold of a suitable guy to speak on this or discuss with this. Right. With this, thanks a lot. I'll take some questions now. Yeah, Ladybird Haru, thanks a lot. Kiran MV, thank you. Rohan, good morning. Hans Gio, good morning. Balram Krishnan, good morning. Yeah, finally got you touching this subject, sir. It's a hot topic of discussion amongst all analysts of late, and they're almost there. The pattern is unmistakable. Yeah. How can Saudi-Pak alliance happen when there's a border dispute between? Well, Ganeshan, see yesterday's podcast. I've explained to you. Yeah. Vishwanathan, good evening, and Jai Hind. Ramki Ramkrishnan, good morning. Old Mackinder's World Theory General. Yeah, that's how it is. It's modified. It's not exactly the same. It's modified. Right? That's how, we have to understand this. And KD Raya, thanks a lot for gifting 5 memberships. Good for you. Those people who get this membership, please help others by continuing with this membership. Okay. Yeah. Then who else? Yeah. KD Raya, Namaskaram, General Garu. I'm trying to see, for all those people who like Telugu, one of these days I'm going to try and take off with Telugu with someone who can talk to me on geopolitics on Telugu. Because a lot of people want me to talk on it. I'll try. Hmm. Only Atmanirbhar is the answer. I agree with you. Jack in and out of the box. Can you explain in full details the dichotomy between China, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia axis and China, Iran axis? Both are contradictory. Yeah, I spoke of it yesterday. I spoke of it yesterday. China will do the balancing between the two, right? And China will do the balancing of the Iran China axis through Russia. Okay, the China Pak Saudi Arabia axis is the long term business. And remember, China is the one who got Saudi Arabia and Iran to sign a deal 2 years back. At that time, it was said that look, China is the new great leader on the earth. US has been sidelined, yeah, whoa, all that. But what's happened after that? The whole thing is flipped. So China is playing all games. China is playing both sides of the story, and that's how China has always been doing it. China has got one hand in Iran's pocket, and it's slowly putting its hand through into the Saudi Arabian pocket through Pakistan. Yeah, you got to see a lot of games. You see many of these games as they get played out. Uh, you'll see a lot of diffusion happening. It's very difficult to see where it will go. The shape of these games will change, but all of them affect us. So we have to see it from our point of view, as simple as that. Yeah, USA seeking Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan. Yes, they're looking at it, everyone. The original plan, regional plans was greater Israel controlling the. Look, there's no greater Israel which is going to happen. Israel doesn't have the manpower, okay, to control them. 1 minute. Yeah. Israel doesn't have the manpower to get the greater Israel or get greater Israel through by Arab states and all that. Right. So the whole story will spin out. How it comes out, we'll see. Yesterday I spoke of greater Israel in yesterday morning's broadcast, evening's podcast at 7 o'clock. Yeah, US wants to shake up regional deals. Yeah, they are up to a full shake up. In spite of all theories, no matter when they were propounded, one must understand the time, context, and situation at that time. I believe Trump cannot play his trump card with any success. Look, Trump has largely been sudden. I agree with you. Trump has largely been unsuccessful. He started with getting hold of his environment, Canada, Greenland, Panama Canal, Argentina, Brazil. He's failed. Now he's getting after Venezuela. That game is going on. I've not gone back into that. That's still open-ended, right? He might. I mean, I don't think he'll get through. Now he's opened this. He'll play these games. That's it. And all said and done, you must understand, USA has the reach to play these games. Yeah. Yeah. How is India's refueling tankers coming along? All those who think China has a weak West. Well, we're not going to talk of all this. I mean, we'll talk of it some other day. General is always Gary Glazer. Thanks a lot, Gary, for joining in. The General is always interesting to listen to. Very deep thoughts. Thank you. Then Mika says you can buy from any nation in the world, not just Russia. Yeah, that's what I was speaking of. Today I saw that video. Why should India buy only from Russia? They can buy from everywhere else and more from India. But that's okay. That's the nature of the game we're going to play. That's the pressure which is going to be put on us. Let's start with Iran and Venezuela. I don't know whether the Indian government is thinking that way at this point of time. Venezuela definitely will be speaking to them. We have been speaking to them. Iran, if we have to start getting oil from Iran, which we should, my way of thinking, uh, one of two things should happen. Either our relationship with USA should go bad, or we should take a bold step to say we will chart an independent foreign policy, completely unmindful of other issues. To hell with you. Are we strong enough to do that? Is the question. I don't think we are. Okay. And that also leaves no exit option from USA. So we'll see how it goes. Personally, I feel we should start opening our relations with Iran. Who is the brain behind Central Asian, South Asian pivot? Trump cannot even name the. No, it's not. Look, it's not Rubio, it's not Trump. There is a think tank which has been put in place, and this I said when Trump got elected, that whatever Trump is doing is not transactional. His instincts are transactional, his behavior and execution is transactional, but there's a game coming out, and that game plan they have already put in place and it's being unfolded. There's some think tank doing it. So, weren't all the Central Asian countries invited to the SCO summit? How can we say that they are in Trump's basket because he met them? He tried with Armenia. I agree with you. But he's made a ingress. He's already, look, I'm not saying anything which has not happened. Just because they went to the SCO summit doesn't mean, this Trump can't make his outreach. He's made the outreach. He's appointed an ambassador. He is using Pakistan, and Pakistan is his pivot for that area. So he'll try. I'm not saying that they've flipped, but the start is there. This game is getting played out. Understand? He's cutting your access to the Central Asian republics. Please understand that the game has started. Earlier it was not there. That's the more important thing. Balasri, good morning. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But something is happening. For that matter, the Afghans have said we will not give the Bagram air base. But it's a thing in progress. Yeah, the Trump H1B policy is countered by China K1. We'll talk of it later. This is something which won't go very far. In any case, that H1B visa has flopped already. It's going to be out of the equation. Okay. First and foremost, it's only for new people. Now they're saying medical people will be exempted. Then they'll get something that's gone. Yeah, Bagram is their ideal staging point to contain Iran. I agree with you. Yeah, you General Raj Shukla and General Hari Mohan will do. Yeah, that's the idea. Friendly Finland PM made a good statement like speech compared to disastrous speech of Tapu. I agree with you, SH. I'm going to talk of India. What are India's options in all this, and where does India have to go? All that we'll talk of it. These are the things which I'm going to talk of in this coming week. Yeah, Ashish, good morning. USA and China have been cahoots with the Kissinger vision. I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. If you take the 19 knot for Heartland theory and put 2024 situation, then the game is on. How well it can succeed, that we'll have to see. That is, I agree with you. Why does America meddle in other countries? They can't help it. That's the way things have evolved. That's the way Anglo-Saxons live. So earlier, who are the colonizing countries of the world? The Europeans, German, Dutch, Britain, Spain, Portuguese, the French. These are the colonizers. They also went to and colonized USA. They all went and, So USA is full of these fellows only. So all these colonizers went there and they have now become the biggest colonizer of the earth in a different manner. So that instinct has not gone. That instinct has transferred from Europe to America. Yeah, but I haven't seen your previous episode with Iyer, sir. But Indian Army has gone into Myanmar, northernmost state, the route you indicated. The state is watching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have not. Look, if you remember, Kiran, 2 months back we did a you know raid into Myanmar. It's in that area. There's a lot of things, dots you need to connect. I'll talk of it one of these days. Looks like Trump is moving towards G2. Should India align more with Russia and EU to counter this? I'll talk of it. I'll talk of it separately because I'm putting together something for it, what India needs to do. Because India needs to take on this pressure from USA. India needs to do something to do against China. India needs to handle Pakistan, its vicinity, and how should we do with the larger world. In fact, some answers you'll get today evening. We're talking about India, US, China tango. You know, with on P Gurus today evening at 8 o'clock. Join in. Yeah, Iran welcomes Saudi Arabia, Pakistan Mutual Defense Pact. Well, I have not read it. Let me have a look at it. Okay, US will target Indian youth using social media, all controlled by US. Our politicians are totally clueless with this angle of infowar. Gen Z protests are classical CAA social. I agree with you, Rohan. That's the problem. Our political community is out of the equation. As far as I understand, in United States and Russia and China and India, the state is in a power tussle with the private sector. That's the eternal game, and the US government is closest to losing the game. We'll see how it happens. In fact, that the formulation of China is that India is attempting to become the fifth pole. I found it in an article, tucked into Guancha today morning. That actually set my antlers up. When China starts considering you the fifth pole, things are changing. And which are the other poles? I've always felt that the four poles are India, China, Russia, and USA. Now he's talking of EU as the fifth pole. Well, economically, EU is the fifth pole. So we'll talk of this story. I'll talk of it about India and its options. Thank you, Ramki. Yeah, if you people have liked this analysis, this orthogonal analysis of mine, and join in. This is a series I'm going to do over this week morning. I'm going to do it myself. This is my thinking. What we get out of others in the evening is a different story. Like today evening with P Gurus, tomorrow again with Jaipur Dialogues, maybe day after Saturday again evening with P Gurus. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, the internal unrest, unfortunately, brewed by LOP with the US and backing with Sam Petroda, all this will happen. Vishnath, this is the problem. In this whole story, this will happen, and we should be prepared for it. Okay, Ashish Hegde, thanks a lot for your contribution. There is a great game on in Africa as well. Russia and China have had some. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Right. Tarun Kem Ram Ram. That's right. Israel hasn't enough population. How India Iran closer partnership is the counter to the Middle East? Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I've said. We need to increase our thing with Israel. Is the US trying to refurbish lost, damaged Pak assets in Sindoor? Yes, yes, I agree with you. This is what Aisha Sadika talks of. Sahil Saini, thanks a lot for joining in. India has lost Chabahar. I don't think so. These things don't happen overnight. Huntington's clash of civilizations predicted China-Islam alliance with India broken up. Why does Saudi turn to Pak over fellow Arab Egypt, which also has manpower? Why is Pak more reliable? Huntington didn't speak of India breaking. I think you're misquoting him. And it didn't predict of China-Islam alliance either. There are fault lines between this. Okay. You need to read the Clash of Civilizations and remaking of the world order in a little more detail. And he talks of India and Japan as the swing civilizations which had to be won over. Well, he wrote that at the turn of the century. That whole story is now fallen apart. Yeah. Yeah, Russia, China, India has taken the lead in safe nuclear energy. I don't think so. I don't think that has come up as it through SMR technology. Let us see. Let us see. Oil does not hold the cards anymore. I don't agree with this also. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Do we have resources and capabilities, and more importantly, willingness to counter these unavoidable global power game? We have the capability and the resources and everything. Willingness, intent, and thinking to play this game is more important. And if we play this game, our resources and capabilities will increase on its own. We have no choice but to play this game. If you don't play this game, you're lost. That's the important thing. We require to grow, but then US also requires us. Our interests converge on China, terrorism, and mutually beneficial economy. I completely agree with you. In the long run, my conviction is that India US interests are more aligned than India China interests. When you pick between the two, the India US interests are more aligned. So logically, it's not I'm swinging. I'm not pro US. I'm in fact far from it. But interest being interest, cold analysis tells you India US. Will that happen? I will see. We have carried out test firing of Agni Prime from a railboat. Yeah, that's a variant. That's about all. It seems that India does not have any option of counterattack. We have to take punches while holding ourselves. Situation. No, we have a lot of political punches to throw, not military. The thing in our establishment, the problem I find in our establishment, I find this in our military establishment. I find this in our political establishment. They don't understand the unity and the strength of a politico-military approach. They don't. One. Number two, our political masters, including Mr. Modi and everyone, no exception, they are more into electoral politics than international politics. I think it's Mr. Modi who understands this most, but the pressures of internal politics takes over. I like the cartoon of Trump. Thanks a lot. Oh, incidentally, someone has asked, well, who's your designer? Yeah, you're looking at the designer. Every morning I get up, look at the cartoons, see what I have to see, then put that, whatever my heading is, I put it, search, and I get and do something. This is my hobby. Yeah, I am the cartoon guy in this. In your expert opinion, sir, what can India do over the Iran port issue? Hedge, and hedge. Don't give up on it. Even if you have to go through sanctions, bargain. Don't close that port. You invested money. How can you let go? I mean, look at it. It's something like this. You bought a house in a street, okay? And suddenly one dada comes and says, you can't enter the street. Will you agree? You'll do everything to ensure that you go because you put money and you got a house, you have to live in it. You have to do. You can't give up on Chabahar at all. You give up on Chabahar, you give up on Iran, you give up on the international north-south transit corridor, and it goes into Central Asia, it goes into Eurasia, it goes into Russia, it goes into Afghanistan. It's too important for India to give up. Let me put it this way: we can give up on USA to a large extent, not on this corridor. Yeah, missed your first half. Do you see any external intervention and late development? I don't know. At this point of time, actually, to be very honest, I'm not focused on it. I'll be honest. I'm not focused on what's happening in Leh. Maybe in a day or two we'll get to it. But I think in a day or two things will start petering out there. There would be external influence. There would be Chinese influence. There would be US influence. There would be Pakistani influence, and our own stupid opposition. In fact, I would say even our own stupid ruling party. You hype emotions and get the situation to a boil, something will flow over. Was there a way to deflate this whole bubble? Somehow, our ruling party has a problem of taking things on head on, whether it's the farm laws or this and that. They, part of geopolitics and good politics and international politics is to deflate that bubble. चुपचाप सुई लगाओ, हवा निकल जाएगा, कैरी ऑन. वो दिमाग नहीं है. What is India-US relation based on? We neither agree with their approach to the region nor their. Saurabh, I have to do a show on this again. India-US relations. Maybe some answers you'll get today, but I'll do it. Be rest assured. USA might go for a G2 because it sees an opportunity in AI. Yeah, there's good chances for this. But that will be a conditional G2. Thanks a lot, Hans, for your support. Yeah, it's ridiculous not to have a thing. So, can you answer my question? Thanks. Yeah, I think I've answered parts. Haven't you? I did answer your question. I did take your question. Yeah, is a multipolar a dynamic concept or something to be looked at strategically, statically, from a view of geography? It is a dynamic concept to a large extent. Why? The number of poles keep changing. The swing between bipolar to unipolar to multipolar is dynamic in nature. Has one given way to the other? Will you go back to a unipolar movement? At this point of time, difficult. Will you go back to a bipolar movement? I don't think so. Is multipolar the way forward? Yes. But the multipolar construct is going to be dynamic. Some poles will go up, some poles will come down, some poles will vanish, some poles will emerge. And that's the world we are getting into. I hope now you're clear about the whole thing. Yeah. Jason Samraj. So Indian Navy reach of a maritime front intact with this new Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. Pak General was saying Indian carrier are irrelevant. He's a bloody idiot here. Forget about it. Look, please remember, the Pakistani general is also speaking to his own people. He has to give this view. Or Raga is against India's interest and government is silent, judiciary is unreliable, how to develop. Oh, we develop, don't worry. Look, I have a different view about our LOP and Mr. Rahul Gandhi and all that. He's disruptive. I have no doubt. But who's allowed him to be disruptive? Why have you not countered his disruption through logic rather than by telling, going shrill about him and talking that he's anti-national and all that? Is he anti-national? Why are you presuming that he gets money from abroad? Why are you not, why are you always hectoring the opposition? If you hector the opposition, they'll do exactly that. I mean, there's a political issue, it's a domestic issue. And the very approach of the ruling party is dangerous for India. Because if you kill the opposition, it's a one party system like Communist Party. This will be worse. A super majority BJP ruling this country will be the worst case scenario for India. Please understand this. I'm not against the BJP, I'm not for Congress or vice versa. We are looking at something which is good for India. What is good for India is a balanced democracy. We don't know, and that democracy is not dictated by your liking and my liking. It is the people of India who have to vote for which party has to govern them. Accept it. Accept it. Accept it that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is your leader of opposition. He represents a constituent, important constituent of your democracy. We have elected him. He might be good, bad, or ugly. People have elected him with a huge margin, okay, of votes. So we have to think differently to make that man think differently. Okay, if he is off the line. So I normally don't get into politics, but I think all of you have to also start thinking. We are a democracy. People have voted, a fair number of people have voted for Mr. Rahul Gandhi and his coalition which he heads. They are not fools. Respect them. Rahul Gandhi is just a figurehead of that. If all those people have accepted Mr. Rahul Gandhi as the figurehead, respect him, yeah. You might have, you might criticize him, but respect him. Yeah, let me take someone new. Observer, how do I get gift? How do I gift memberships? I actually don't know, to be very honest. I suppose you'll have to go and see how you can gift memberships in the YouTube. I'll be grateful if you do. And in fact, I would say first you become a member. I'll be more than happy with that, observer. Is India hurting itself more by being too neutral, fantasizing both in being opposite camps, US and Russia? Oh, well, it's a difficult question to answer, right? Uh, but somewhere I think we can't get aligned to anyone. To that extent, a lot of people talk ill of Mr. Nehru. But long back, Mr. Nehru realized that you cannot, India with its problems can't be aligned with the West. It can't be aligned with China. It can't be aligned with Pakistan and everyone. The only way forward is non-alignment. Today, you're talking in multipolar and strategic autonomy. वही कहानी है यार, अंग्रेजी अलग है, बस that's about all. Will our government dodge all these regime change operations, riots, and along with US president? Yes, we will have no problem because the fundamental quality of the government is good. The people, we as a people will not allow nonsense beyond a point. In any case, the government is pretty stable. If the government is stable and the government doesn't fall, all these will tackle. I don't think so. India's successful firing of Agni Prime from railway, that's a game changer, not much. It's a added capacity. Yeah, these party workers were involved in fine, that's okay. That's part of the political violence is not new in India. It has happened many times. Okay. Police will take care of it. Law and order will prevail. Don't worry. The 304 watching and only 30 likes. Come on, people. Yeah, I agree with you. Kedi Rai, thanks a lot. Please. Yeah, let's make Mrs. Sonia Gandhi the next president of Bharat. No, that's not an option. US said they'll not share any source code with India going forward. How is this going to impact India, especially the Navy, which relies? Look, that's something which let the force, armed forces handle this. They know how to handle this. Don't worry. I mean, this is something which I don't think we should bother. Um, yeah, when hate and bias engulfs you, you start seeing issues, people as black and white. That is what political parties want. So, unfortunately, our political spectrum is full of gray. Okay, full of gray. Not now, from before, ever since I can remember. And we should stop seeing things in black and white. From 47 to 91, Congress rule, we were bankrupt. Agree, a NDA may be better than only a BJP. Yeah, yeah. Look again. When you say we were bankrupt from 47 to 71, and that Congress was at the helm, that means you're saying that they were the reason for bankruptcy. Sorry, no. Also remember, at that time the BJP was not on the scene. Remember that. They never came forward to pull India out. People didn't believe in the BJP. People didn't believe in the Johnson. It's the people of India. Even now, the BJP has problems because they're not believed in the South. I'm making a statement of fact. So there are issues. We shouldn't, just blame everyone for everything else. Okay, that's how it is. Right. Should India try to create a new quad with Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, and more? I'll talk of it again as I speak of India down the week. Respecting Papu means demeaning your intelligence. That I agree. Okay. I think we're done for the day. So we'll get back at 8 o'clock in the evening. Right. Thanks for all of you joining in. I've enjoyed myself explaining this whole story, and I liked your questions. Right. On most things, on equipment, whether we like a Rafale or Agni Prime, we'll talk of this separately. What it means, I'll come up. Don't worry. Be patient. I cover all things after a bit of study and reflection. One shouldn't do things in a hurry. Okay, you guys are coming to the show to get some value, not just yeah. Thanks a lot, Mary Kane, for joining in. Will you vote for Rahul Gandhi? Oh, I never voted for him, so that's out of question. Okay, and yeah, 207 likes. Thanks a lot. Okay, done for the day. In fact, let me tell you, I have never voted either for the Congress or the BJP. Okay, I have never voted for them because, well, I always feel we have to have alternates away from them. It's not because I don't like either. It's just because we need other alternates. This is a democracy. Anyway, that's how it is. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for attending. Thanks a lot for joining me in this session. This whole week is going to be interesting because I find a lot of change happening and we have to be on top of the change. Right? With this, great. Have a great day. Jai Hind to all of you.